Hello, hey Tim.
Hello, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again. Welcome back to another of our session.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so tell me I think something big is gonna happen this weekend in the US, right?
Yeah, the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
which a lot of people are excited about.
yeah,
Um, our topic today is why I'm not excited about it.
yeah.
And
I'm. Go ahead.
it's not just from the Super Bowl perspective. For me, I really question why do people become so loyal to teams that they were never involved in? They didn't help the team at all, whether it's football, gymnastics, soccer, swimming. I would like to get your insights of why people become so loyal and energized and kind of bring a team as part of their identity.
I
I don't
agree.
fully understand.
I agree. Well, I mean, I don't know if I can even enlighten you with this because I asked the same question as you. Not just, even though, we led into this topic with the example of the Super Bowl, like, to be honest, I spent so much time in the States. We studied together for 4 years and almost we had to watch so many football games. I still don't completely understand. I mean, I definitely do not understand the rules. But just sports in general, Americans rather are fanatics about sports, and it boggles my mind. It's something that I learned about the culture when I was there, and it was something that I was seeking to understand as well, Because why would you place so much loyalty in a abstract organization? I mean, it's an organization not abstract, but it's an organization that doesn't even know about your existence. And they just want your money, like buying the jersey, going to the games, buying food and drinks at the stadium. Yeah,
And so, one thing that I like to think about is like, why does it matter with your life or in your life? I've had people who like their team lose on Sunday and they're sad Monday through Wednesday. And it's like,
yes.
why?
I really, exactly, like, why do they let it affect their life, Like, okay, I can see it as an entertainment, like, for example, for the few hours when you're watching the game, yeah, there are some really excellent displays of athleticism or sportsmanship or, just some things that happen, like, for example, in baseball, some really low odds thing happen and then everyone is amazed that you saw it happen. Man, to have it affect your life after that if your team loses or get into fights just because a team wins or another team loses, if they get into fight at the stadium, I just cannot understand that.
Yeah. And so I was born in Oceanside, which is near San Diego. And so I'm a Chargers fan, which means that sure, I'll root for them to win, but I have no weight if they lose. I don't really care if they lose. I hope they win, but it doesn't affect me personally. But I think one thing that people do when I say I'm a Chargers fan and someone's a fan of another team, they kind of get upset that I'm not part of their clan. And I think
That's
that's part of why people enjoy it because they enjoy being part of a group.
that's true. I think so. I think a lot of times that's why most people support their hometown team, right? Because when you're from that place and then that happens to be your team, you're like, okay, I'm gonna support that. So actually, I can see why a lot of Americans are such fanatics with sports because it's so ingrained in your culture that okay, you have hometown teams and then people are encouraged to take part in sports. So it's something that children, I think from young, they look up to being like a good athlete. But in Singapore, we don't have football. I mean, we have football teams, we have a league, but it's not a big one. And when you consider yourself from Singapore, you don't really split yourself into different small towns like, okay, this is my team and then I support that team. And we are not even encouraged to play sports much as a kid. You are always asked to study and stuff. So sports wasn't really a big part of my life when I was growing up.
Are you talking
And
about American football or soccer?
any sports at all. But
In
when I was
Singapore.
in Singapore is like soccer, but football.
Okay.
Yeah, not American football, but just sports in general. We are not encouraged to play that, so it's not a big part of my life. That's why I don't watch it much. And on top of that, we don't really identify. We identify ourselves as Singaporeans. We don't identify ourselves as okay, this part of Singapore has this team, and then that is the team that I support. We don't have that.
I think it's one thing that has bigger consequences that people don't really think about, especially in America. It seems like we're so divided because we group ourselves in different tribes or beliefs or teams. And while that can be good, if you look at the long term, like America as a whole, we want our country to succeed. But if you start getting into smaller groups, it creates a lot of hatred towards the other groups. Because if you're not in the in group, you're in the out group, and if you're in the out group, you're bad. And I think that brings a lot of hatred toward in America in a lot of different sectors.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying because it introduced another level of division, right? Now, besides being like maybe split by religion and split by political beliefs, you have to be split by the team that you support as well.
And if you split yourself in so many different groups, you're never going to have the majority in common with someone because they're in a
Yeah,
different group about a random thought.
you're right. And then it's so hard to, because identity is such a nuanced thing, right? It's so personal to everyone. What makes you is like, all these different kind of beliefs. So doesn't mean that I support, like, for example, what is that? What is the Denver team that I'm supposed to support since?
Broncos.
Oh yeah, the Broncos. Yeah, like just because even within like the people who's are fans of Broncos, the Broncos, they could be whatever political belief, could be whatever religion. So it's hard to belong in a group like such a specific group.
Like even in the military, like when you meet up with some Army guys or Marine guys, because we were in the Air Force, like they kind of like to like pick on each other. And to an extent, it's kind of fun and it's nice as long as it's joking. But
Yeah.
you have to realize that, sure, we're different branches, but we can't make ourselves different tribes because how are you supposed to work together if you kind of have a little hatred towards another group?
Yeah, yeah. I think from my experience in the military in the US, most of the time people don't take it that far, It is more used as a tool to increase camaraderie within your own group. But then from my experience dealing with the military members in the US, most everyone I have not met anyone who like put themselves in such a strict group that they don't care about the other branches. Because ultimately, everyone know that you are serving the Constitution, protecting the Constitution rather, and the American people, and they still know that they are working together in the mission. So in general, it's not so bad.
I wish they brought that kind of mindset to sports where it's like, it doesn't matter who wins or lose. I want to see a good game with people doing really amazing things that I can't do. I
Yeah,
want it to be a close nail biter game. I want it to be exciting if I'm going to
yeah,
watch it.
yeah, and a show
That
of
should
a
be
good sportsmanship as well.
I
Yeah.
think that should be more important.
Yeah, I think so too. Like it should be a uniting factor. Like, okay, you could support this team and I support the other team, but ultimately it's just for the love of the sport and we enjoy watching it. No matter who wins, we had a good time and it is part of our culture to enjoy such sports events. Then you go off and be better friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I did do it when I was little. I played soccer, baseball, track, football, bowling, basketball. And when
okay.
I was little, when the other team won, I wouldn't say hate, but I really disliked them. And then as I got older, I was more appreciative of people's skill. And so like when they would score a goal in soccer that was really impressive, like I would give the other team high fives. And that
Yeah,
made the game more enjoyable, even if we did lose.
yeah. I mean,
Just
there's nothing wrong
good
with
job.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with like just acknowledging that, man, you scored a really good one. I would not have been able to do that, you know. It's just even like, for example, if you're playing professionally, it's just a professional courtesy, right? Like, wow, this guy did something amazing. And you, of all people, because you are part of this thing, you can understand that was really difficult
Yeah.
to do.
And
Yeah.
I think that would make the game more enjoyable for both sides, the players and the fans on both teams.
But go ahead.
And I think if we start doing that at the lower level, getting rid of this tribal thinking where you don't like the other tribes or groups, I think that would have a ripple effect through the whole American society where it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you have different beliefs, but I'm going to acknowledge when you do something good, do something bad, and not just think everything is bad.
Yeah. I'm sure in the middle school or high school, people, maybe more so in middle school when they start getting introduced to playing sports, the coaches would advocate for good sportsmanship, but the way that they try and make you put your best into the game is to make sure that you know you belong to this team, and you should give your best to this team, play to the best of your abilities, and the goal is to win, right? To win, that means you must beat the other team. So maybe the motivation is to like make you not like the other team so much. But if they can make it where, you know, it's more about, okay, we are playing a game, so if you want to play a game, you want to win, doesn't mean you have to hate the other team.
Yeah. I want to
Yeah.
win because we did better, not because the other team did bad.
Yeah. So I think when they are younger, they probably was introduced to this better sportsmanship, and then it starts getting worse as you go to like high school. You're like, you must hate the other high school. They are from the another high school. Then of course Division 1 in college, and then after that professional. But when it starts coming to professional sports, it is more about the money, you know.
Yeah.
There's just
Like that's all they care about is getting the views, showing the advertisements, making money, selling jerseys, selling tickets. They don't care
exactly.
about the individual. So why should the individual care about the team?
Yeah, and they also don't care about using sports as a platform to unite the country, because I want you to be so loyal to my team that you will buy my stuff whenever I put out all the jerseys and all the merchandise, and then come to my games. You know, they're just manipulating the fans to make money.
It's capitalism, and I wish people saw it more as that. It's a business trying to get your business, and the best way to get business is to create this false sense of loyalty where you're loyal to the company and the company's not loyal to you.
Yes, like why do you have to be so loyal to this organization that actually just trying to squeeze you for every cent you have? I think, you know, when these sports were created, you know, I'm sure when humans invented games, it's just a way for us to pass time and enjoy each other's company and play something together. And then after that, for sports that are, for example, the Olympics, is to just see who is the best. You want to watch and experience the best of the human condition, right? So when you are playing like a hometown baseball game, for example, you want to include as many people to audience to come and watch as possible, because it's our community, we all come together and watch. But I was watching a video recently, I think by the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, I think Wall Street Journal, they were basically talking about how the Super Bowl stadium has changed over the years. That used to be, okay, I want to pack as many people in there as possible, which, okay, it is also money making, but you know, you try to include as many people as possible. But now they don't care about the number of seats. It's the amount that the premium that I can charge. So I can reduce the number of seats, but as long as the box or the suites, I can charge 1,000 times the amount, the cost, the price just to fit 10 people. I would do that. You know, who cares about including people?
Yeah, it's just about money.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it is nice to have a hobby, like to watch the sports on the weekend as an entertainment. I mean, it is entertainment. It's just it's like watching a movie, right? Take 2 hours of your time, or rather with American football, 4 or 5 hours of your time. But to be so blindly loyal and fanatic about it, you have to think, why is that so? And are you spending too much money on it?
Yeah. And it's not just money, it's time.
Mm-hmm.
I was debating with a friend this last week, and I said, what you spend your time on is what you value. And I find it really interesting that there are people who spend more time watching football than talking with friends or family, or
Yeah.
they know more about the players on the team, where they grew up, where they went to college, all these stats about them. They know
Yeah.
more things about the team than they do their friends. And
Yeah.
for me, that means you don't value your friends. You value what you spend your time, your thoughts, your energy on. And for a lot of people, it's football. And I find that wrong.
Yeah, I find that wrong too. Especially like your friends are the ones who know you and love you. These players do not know you. This team, in fact, this organization, the general manager or the owner of the team just wants your money. They don't care about you, you know? Especially, I know what you mean. Like some baseball fans can be reciting all the stats. As in baseball, it's all about the numbers, right? They know all the to the percentage, on base percentage, the hit percentage or whatever. It takes so much effort.
But then they don't really know a lot about their friends.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is especially prevalent in the US. The only other thing is like maybe football in the UK, and then, you know, the rest of the world, they do like football. But, you know, America is just absolutely extreme. It's extreme in terms of sports. It can be American football, baseball, hockey, everything. You know, Americans just love sports. I was very fascinated when I was in the US. I always wonder how come everyone loves sports so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big part of your culture and life, daily life.
It's a good way to unite a small group of people, but then it divides you from the rest of them.
If they take it to the extremes. But
Or
do you see a lot of like fights happening in Europe, especially? I mean, the UK, they have many instances of people just fighting at the games because they hate the other team so much. Is there much of it
yeah,
in the US?
that does happen. Some teams are worse. And yes, there's alcohol involved at the tailgates, which makes people a little more irrational.
And aggressive.
But there are fights. Just because your jersey is different from mine, I don't like you and I'll fight you because you said my
Uh-huh.
team should lose.
Uh-huh.
And we have
Man,
that
yeah.
same thing like across different cultures, different skin colors, different political parties. It's just your jersey's different from mine, so I don't like you. And it's
Yeah,
sad.
I know. That's why I always enjoyed the watching the of all the football games that we had to go to. I enjoyed the Commander-in-Chief games the most when you played the other service academies, because there's a lot of mutual respect, because everyone knows that, oh, you know, you are serving the country, you're in the military, and now we are playing game together. Even though I'm trying to win, but you know, at the end of the game, no matter who wins, they come over and sing the song together. I like that a lot.
It's good when it unites people, but just I think our values are messed up, that we're spending so much time on things that don't matter, but then we don't realize like, oh, if I'm spending more time on one thing than another, then I do care more about the thing I spent more time on.
Yeah, the priorities of where you spend your time. Because we mentioned before, right? Time is finite and you can only spend it on so many things. So if you spend so much on sports, you're gonna neglect something else. So how can we make this better? I wonder.
I don't particularly care about the sports. I care more about the country as a whole. Like, how can we unite our country? And that's a lot more of a difficult question that I think about a lot, but I don't have an answer to. I think we
Yeah,
need to quit focusing on our differences and focus on our similarities, because that's what
yeah,
brings us together.
yeah. I agree with that, because as a country, we need a common goal, right? To work together. That's why I thought the Apollo moon mission was such a good example. Like for 10 years, it really united the American people, everyone from top to bottom, all working towards the goal of getting Americans to the moon.
But unfortunately, that's kind of an example of like the best way to join a group together is to have hatred or disrespect towards another.
Exactly.
And so
Yeah.
it's
At
like
that time,
it drove us together to beat Russia. It's like,
yeah. At that time, it
okay.
was the USSR. Yeah. I mean, like, when can humans learn to come together as a human race without having an enemy, right? Like, we are all the same. Yeah,
That's a difficult question. I wish we could figure it out.
I know. I actually wrote a paper about that when we were in college. Is how, the only way that we can become a spacefaring human race is if we act like a human race rather than uh American, Singaporean, Russian, European, this kind of thing. Because you
But
need all the
it,
brains and resources coming together.
yeah, even when I was working for Boeing, like I did a lot of the like ISS missions, the rocket launches, the satellites, going to the moon rover. And a lot of what encouraged us to do that is because we got to beat China. We can't let them get there first. It's
Yeah,
like, no, work together with them
yeah. Imagine then we can all get there faster if we all work together.
faster
But
and cost a lot less.
yeah, but a lot of this is about unfortunately, I don't think it's a lot of pride involved because like the people are not trying to get there before China because they are like, we are Americans and then we want to get there first. But a lot of it is just, I think, once again, down to money. You want to get the technology to sell or like have the technological advantage over another person, another group of people.
I wish we could just get along better.
Yeah, there's so much suspicion. And I feel that a lot of this suspicion is unwarranted. Coming from Chinese cultural background, I feel, I mean, in my personal opinion, China don't really care much about politics. They just want to make money. The Chinese people are just businessmen. They don't care. Like, you do what you want. You can do whatever you want. I want to do business. I want to make money and to be prosperous. We can work together. If we can work together and make money, I will do it.
I think dividing people is the best way to control them. So whether it's you're only loyal to our sports team, you'll only buy our tickets, only buy our jerseys, to political parties where you have to be loyal to your political party. You can't have any beliefs that align with the other side. It's the best way to divide people and then control them because then they have no say. You can't have a different belief. You have to believe what we believe and you have to tell everyone that our belief is right. And I
Yeah,
think that's so harmful and so wrong, but
yeah.
it's the best way to control people.
I think you're right. You're right. These parallels between controlling people politically and controlling your own fans. Because if you make it such that everyone gets along together and we are all just for the love of the sport, then it doesn't stop this guy from buying this jersey one day and buying another jersey one day, going to this game another day, because he's just there for the sports, for the game. But you need to make it sure, like, no, 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 no. You are our fan. You cannot do any of these other things.
I think it's so harmful, especially in the political realm,
Yes.
just because like if you divide us and then we have no say in what the party values and we're just supposed to align with the party, then it's like you're a sheep that's no longer in a democracy. It's just we'll split into two and the people at the top get to tell everyone else what to do. And I wish
Yes.
people just thought for themselves.
Exactly. Like, if you think that, like, for example, you belong to the Democrats or the Republicans, then you no longer think for yourself what is best for the country. You are just like, no, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican, I'm just gonna follow blindly whatever they say and vote for them, no matter what. And that's like, it's so harmful and how do I say, it's it's not beneficial because there are so many issues that requires different responses and solutions that not one party can provide.
It's
Yeah.
like how we value diversity in groups and we think that different backgrounds and values and thoughts are beneficial. But then you have Republicans and Democrats who it's you can only believe what we believe. There is no other thinking. It's like, now you took away all the diversity out of it.
Yeah. Sure, the point of view is just Republican or Democrats,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And, like, it was so frustrating for me. I was a congressional fellow for 7 months working for a congressman in DC. And when we had our meetings I was on the Energy and Commerce Committee, the committee meetings would be divided exactly per political side on every single vote. I don't remember seeing a single person who crossed the political line. And it's like, well, at that point, you have no say. The leader gets to decide what you talk about. The leader gets to decide what's important. The leader decides what gets voted on. And so you have no say. You are a sheep. You might as well not even be there.
Yeah. I really don't get that. So I wonder if it's better if you abolish political parties and you can only run on platforms on certain issues. You just like, okay, this issue, this is my plan and this is my thinking. Another issue, it could be a totally different kind of thinking. You could be liberal or whatever thing, but you think that this plan works for this issue, then you do that.
Yeah. I think that could help.
Yeah. And then, but that's why you see when we were on holiday together last year and you had to do some voting and many issues were on the ballot. How did that work? Like, did they group the issues together? Because different issues requires different solutions. And you said you were researching about all these issues and then all these solutions before you cast your vote. Are you able to cast on them individually, or they are grouped together like, okay, the Republican way method for all these issues is this and this and this and this, but you agree with certain things, but part of the other things you agree with a different part, but you can't vote for it because it happens to be the other party. Did it work like that? If you know what I'm saying, if you get what I'm talking about.
It depends on what level you're voting. The city, state, federal. The federal likes to just group a bunch of things together and you either have to say yay or nay on the whole package. So if the infrastructure bill that I was working on, it was hundreds of billions of dollars. And it was 1,000 pages. I read all 1,000 pages and there were so many different laws, so many different regulations, and you can't just vote things out. You have to vote for the whole thing, yes or no.
Man, yeah. But certain things just doesn't work within the thing, you cannot pick, like, for example, in the menu, you're like, I like this from the appetizer, but I don't like this main. I want this something from the other menu. You can't do that. You must take the whole set menu.
Yeah, their excuse is voting on individual things would take too long. And it's like, no, it's not. Look, vote, yes or no. Next one, yes or no.
Yeah. Because
it takes longer to vote on a big one. That one takes a year versus individual ones you could do in a day of research.
Yeah, exactly. Because you cannot just slap on one big solution to make and expect it to work for every single problem. Man, this is a complicated thing that, the two of us have talked at length about trying to fix, but I think it's just so difficult. I don't know if we can even come up with a solution, but at least we are thinking about it, and people who are listening to us can think about it and be more cognizant of, all these nuances in our day-to-day lives, down to the choice of supporting a sports team.
I think it would help just when you find yourself divided, look to see what the benefit or the consequences are and see if it benefits you at all, because it probably doesn't. It benefits the people at the top. And so if you just agree with being part of a tribe and then have no say, you are giving up your vote, you are a sheep. Stand up for what you believe in, and then the people at the top won't have as much power over you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, ultimately, at least you stand up for what you believe in, then they can't control you as much.
So many things just come back to power, control, money.
Exactly. Like, a lot of the American freedom is an illusion. Yeah, you have the freedom to choose, but did you really though? Or did we just make you think that you chose?
You can choose, but there's only two options.
Yeah. So, and you are this particular group. So who are you going to choose? You better choose this.
It's like, it reminded me of a quote, like Henry Ford said, you can choose any color you want of our Model T as long as your choice is black.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember this quote as well. Yeah. So hopefully people listening to this will start to think more about this and, don't let yourself be controlled as easily.
So don't just listen to what we say either.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah. I mean, if you still support your team, go ahead. I mean, it gives you joy and stuff. Yeah, go ahead. But let's come together and not be too divisive.
I agree.
Yeah, I like talking about this, how we can go from sports to politics.
Yeah, it's all intertwined. And so I think as long as you can fix one little thread, it will have a ripple effect that will help bring us together.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, they're all intertwined, like you mentioned. And if we think deeply enough, then we can apply the choices to other aspects of our life and the thought process. Yeah. All
Well,
right.
it was a pleasure talking with you.
Yes, as well. Always a pleasure. Hope to talk to you soon.
Sounds great.
All right. Bye, Tim.